Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be surrounded by friends, actually, see so many familiar faces and also other colleagues interested in the Glasgow Declaration. I will see what I can do to gain time. Apologies that we started late, but yes, this happens in trade fairs. So, as Dirk said, I'm going to just summarize the key takeaways from the report that we built with all the progress updates received from signatories. As you may remember, the Glasgow Declaration is asking the signatories to report, so of course we in turn also need to report. And this is the first reporting exercise that we have carried out. Basically, we conducted it between January and June 2023, and we collected 420 progress updates, and also those updates in 257 cases contained a climate action plan. So you can imagine our team is small, a lot of work to try to analyze that. Thanks to colleagues like Roxana Astari or Jeremy Smith, we have managed. And the report is a first. It's a first systematic review, so you can find resources, initiatives that colleagues are advancing. You can also find what are the gaps, which are areas that need further addressing. And also we have managed to compile like listings of decarbonize actions, listings of regenerate actions. So basically we're building on, you know, the knowledge, the collective knowledge of Glasgow as a network. The plans, actually, as I said, in most of the cases are first. These are first plans. It's the first time organizations have, let's say, dared to put together a climate action plan, and they are forward-looking. What I mean with this is that we're still not reporting on implementation. This is a plan that tells which is the objective, which are the actions we want to put in place, but I guess we will have to wait until next year to see how implementation is going. That's the ambition that we have. And yeah, most of the colleagues have developed their plans in-house with any support. You can imagine the diversity of plans. Luckily, we had the framing, the format, the pathways of the Glasgow Declaration, which have been followed by many and provide some consistency. What encouraged us actually to organize this meeting today is that most of the plans are talking about their own organization, obviously, but some of them actually made a great effort to try to catalyze change beyond their organization. And that's what really motivated us to have this meeting here today, because we think that that's exactly the spirit we need to promote. That's the spirit we need to build on, so we can learn from each other, right? This is still a complex topic, and we are still all pretty new to it. So what did we find out on the measure pathway? Actually, 66% of the plans contain emissions measurement. They have included it. This is the first pathway. It's essential to get an understanding of how to select decarbonization actions and which other actions to take. You can see that normally colleagues share the details on how they measure, and half of them have a baseline year, mainly 2022, so we're still fairly new into measurement as well. And the scopes framework, you know, from the greenhouse gas protocol is followed by 40%, and a little bit less of those colleagues following the scopes are including scope 3, which is, I guess, the most challenging. And then when it comes to transport, persisting discussion in our sector is just 22% of the plans that when they are measuring, they are including transport. These are mainly plans from tour operators and destinations. So yeah, as I said, a great variety of approaches, and our first conclusion here is that we really need to continue building consensus. We really need to try to, do not lose efficiency, because we are all duplicating the wheel and creating the same initiative here and there. Then for the decarbonized pathway, most of the plans include decarbonization actions. And I have to say that actually most of the plans are developed also in a context of recovery from COVID. We see that many plans mention challenges still posed by this recovery. Now what COVID has left us, good thing, is that for instance, virtual meetings and business, reduced business travel are now no longer seen as crisis management, but as a conscious business strategy. They're almost omnipresent in the plans. And what can I say about the targets? We're still not too good at developing targets. Well, the Glasgow proposes targets. Mainly the stakeholders are sticking to those broad targets. There is few stakeholders that have really, you know, customized, let's say, the targets to their own operations. For example, some colleagues have split the targets into the scope. So I have a target for scope 1, a target for scope 2, and so on and so forth. Offsetting is in half of the plans. The good news is that we are looking at it as we should, meaning as a complementary strategy to decarbonization, subsidiary strategy for residual emissions, not as a primary strategy. And the last point here is that when we choose decarbonization actions, so far it doesn't seem like the colleagues are let's say, selecting the actions because of their decarbonization potential. It's, let's say, a broad way of choosing. Now we also have front runners, of course, that are very thorough in the way they choose decarbonization actions, and we really think that exporting the knowledge of those to the others that are choosing a bit more randomly, if you allow the expression, would be useful. So then third pathway, regenerate. It's also addressed in many of the plans, but it's a bit, let's say, not consistent. So you have actions that could fit under regeneration, like, I don't know, ecosystems restoration or adaptation, but they are like scattered here and there in the plans. They don't really have a strong focus on regeneration. 44% report engaging with local communities. When frankly speaking, I think that it should be more. This is a primary element if we want to support the people in our destinations. 37% focus on climate adaptation. This is mainly organizations from emerging economies or very large organizations that actually have the funds to invest in studies, risk studies, etc. And then 29% connect to climate justice. So the last two pathways, collaborate and finance, as you know, we see them as tools to implement the previous three. And collaboration is reported broadly. 66% of plans report working on a network. And we have to say that we have the impression that those plans that were developed with the support of networks are actually more thoughtful or maybe more comprehensive. It's not, let's say, we don't have a percentage for that, but it's just one of the perceptions that we got through the study. Then half are engaging in training, which is very important, and 44% mention that they need resources or, you know, challenges along the lines of finance. And then very few report benefiting from external funding. So what are the overall conclusions that we can pull from this exercise? Basically, we're happy that the Glasgow Declaration is catalyzing the creation of plans, because we saw that climate action was fragmented and now, little by little, is becoming a bit more structured. That allows us to speed up, we hope. Then the value of working collectively is confirmed. We really think that through Glasgow we can advance faster by sharing knowledge. And yeah, we're seeing more and more how the different types of stakeholders should have complementary roles. So, and I'm connecting with the next point, which is finding consensus on measurement, for example. If we could all agree who has to prioritize what in terms of types of stakeholders, we would be advancing in a more efficient way. Lastly, for regeneration, we need further guidance. This is not exactly clear what we're asking. Okay, we're asking that we take into account that nature can help us sequester carbon, but how to do it is a bit, yeah, for a moment, not clear for us, and also the social element of regenerate is also not really clear for stakeholders how to address. So we hope we'll be looking into that. And then the last one, of course, finance remains a persisting challenge. So that's all. I hope I've managed to save some time and look forward to continuing the discussions now. Thank you.